Hello, welcome to the I'm Angry podcast. And today we're going to talk about humans' relationship with animals. Right, so I think we'll open
It's a
up
general theme.
with general theme.
Yeah.
We'll just go. We'll riff through this whole thing, but I think we'll start. Let's talk about zoos. We'll go around the table. We'll start. We'll go counterclockwise. Right.
Yeah, that would.
Tell me
if I'm starting.
Oh, that
Well,
you
Mike,
should let
Mike
him
should
in.
start
No,
because
Michael's going to start.
Yeah,
No,
he
because
should-
his is going to be way in depth.
That's
But I
okay.
think
well,
he's
I'll give
gonna
a short
win the
version. I'll give
conversation.
Mike an
No,
answer.
don't make it
so,
short.
how do you feel about zoos?
I hate I hate the idea of zoos, but being that they exist, I go and I enjoy them because I like animals. I like seeing animals that I would never see in real,
See
like
otherwise.
in normal life otherwise.
Mhm.
But I think, especially, I have a personal, I don't know what the word is, like
Vendetta?
for affection for.
Oh.
Affection sounds weird, but. Like I like apes, like gorillas and
And
chimps.
admiration?
Admiration,
Admiration.
admiration. And when I see them, affection. I said that was a weird word to use, but I mean I like them. I feel like
Right.
a semblance. Like I get it sometimes.
Yeah.
And I go and I'm like, they seem, like closest thing to human like. And I feel like they got to be sad, locked in a, and that goes for all of them. But like certain animals you don't notice, right?
Right,
Like
right.
you go through the salamanders and reptiles, and they're kind of like, all right, they're probably,
They're in a tank.
like they're
it's
probably
kind of-
fine, but they don't seem like they notice. Animals, large animals notice.
Because they look
and it's
like
sad.
they're in their natural habitat.
Despite the size, like smaller animals, they can really make a tank, a 2-foot tank you can
Alright,
make
so-
exactly like
Yeah,
their
so
home
before
environment.
We go off on the whole conversation. So zoos, yes or no?
I would say overall, I dislike them.
Matt, zoos, yes or no?
I'm angry about them.
I like zoos. I think a lot of them, to Mike's point,
I said yes or no.
I like zoos.
Okay.
That's it? That's all you can
Well,
say?
all
we're
I
gonna
can
come back around.
Okay.
I figured,
Alright.
let's just get
Go
the
around the
first-
horn, I
let's
got
just
you.
see
My
what the
bad.
opinion
I got to
is.
give
I was waxing poetic.
Yeah, I was a yes before, but I was also back and forth. So I guess, yes, I
Being
like them.
wishy-washy again.
And when I get to explain, I'll say why, but I
Yes.
feel like I'm going to go back on my,
Perfect.
but I do like them.
Okay. I'm gonna say yes too, and I'll explain my reason.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well,
all right.
Mike
so,
kind of explained.
I gave my reason, so you go.
so
I
we're
won't.
going counterclockwise. So good.
Oh,
now you
yeah.
can go. I just wanted to
Yeah,
hear
no.
everybody's opinion.
I like them. I think to Mike's point, I think a lot of zoos, especially over time, have just kind of lost the. I want to say like the respect for the animals in a sense. Like they kind of, but I like them. First of all, I just like going, but I also think zoos are very educational. That's why we have so many of them. They teach you a lot about the animals. You can see them, and I think that a lot of zoos, if I'm correct, especially in the city, right? I think the Central Park Zoo they do rescues. It's not like they pull an animal out of their
Right.
habitat but the animal can't live in the wild,
Right.
and so they keep them in a place where they can monitor them and make sure they're safe, and then they will eventually release them when they feel it's ready, if that time ever comes.
Agreed.
And so I feel like, in principle, zoos generally they're supposed to go about things a certain way, and if they do, that's fine. If they don't, and you never really know. I think is the biggest issue that you never know which zoos are doing what and how much they're really doing. But I think I think they have a system down that at least in principle they can respect the animals and make some money and have a place for you to go.
Johnny.
I'm going to repeat what they both said, really. I mean, I love zoos because I love animals. Like,
Then don't talk.
okay. But then you can't hear my radio voice.
That's it. There
Right?
you go.
There you go.
Radio Johnny.
Radio Johnny. Here you go. So I did that again. Now I'm just going to giggle through this whole thing.
Hey, you'll be all right. You'll forget about it.
Okay. Yeah, I love animals. I love seeing animals. It's a place to go where there's animals that I don't normally get to see on it every day. So yeah, I love zoos for that. But while I'm there, I feel the same way as Michael was saying. Like, do they feel like they're free in a way? Like, some of the animals have some bigger space, but in the wild there would be a lot more space. And then I also don't know, like, I know animals like to fight animals, but they only see their own kind. Like, I feel like they're being left out of a lot of things from nature. So I think about that aspect of it. I do agree with Matt. I think they're great for educational purposes. People learn that. As you were saying, rehabilitating animals. And they also don't they also put like animals in zoos that are like almost
They're
Extinct.
endangered.
They do,
Yeah,
yeah.
endangered
Or
and stuff?
endangered,
Right.
Almost
and
extinct.
then they bring the count back up, So yeah, I see both, but it's a little rough. It was a little tough. I don't know. I wouldn't. And now they have like which is gonna be such a stupid thing for me. But you can now buy beers and walk around and see animals.
So it makes that much
So
better.
it makes it better.
Made the zoo that much
'Cause-
better.
Well,
for you.
I mean, that's
I
kind
mean,
of cool.
now I'm walking around the zoo on a nice warm day with a beer in my hand.
Because every lion wants to see a drunk Johnny staring at him.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Well, my feeling with zoos, I do like them, and for all those reasons, the education, the conservation, and they're moving more towards not calling themselves a zoo as much as possible.
Really?
Like the
People
good,
say
the
Animal
good, the good ones
sanctuary.
are. Yeah.
No, I
Oh,
mean,
really?
like the
I didn't
Bronx
notice
Zoo,
that.
they're really
They're just
like,
trying to rebrand.
They're all about where the wildlife conservation people.
Yes.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's and that's cool. When you walk around the Bronx Zoo, it's interesting because there is one section of old cages that held
I like the old, what it used to
Yeah.
look
Oh.
like.
and you could kind of get an idea that they're really doing much better. Now
No,
I get it.
you know,
The lion wants to be out on the Serengeti hunting zebras, right? Theoretically, unless it was raised,
Right.
not do that.
Right, right.
But like their habitats are so much better now
Right.
than the way you used to go when
Yeah.
they were in the cage. Like when you think of the circuses too, which we could talk about circuses.
Oh,
I guess we can.
that's
Yeah, I mean, that's
Well,
that's
this is
another
animals.
we
and
can
yeah.
move into circuses because I just love the fact that they used to have the animals and they did away
Well,
with them.
circuses were like the
That's-
worst for
that's
treating them.
They
worse.
could have done
They
better.
were known for
That's
being-
what I'm saying.
Right,
They
right.
could have done better,
Well,
like treating them
I
better.
don't know because you think. I mean, I think of a circus. I think elephants. Was
Right.
my first thought, and I guess there used to be bears, and stuff, but I always remembered elephants. With like
Right.
Barnum and Bailey or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ringling
Both,
Brothers.
Ringling
they're
Brothers,
both.
yeah.
It's,
Okay, yeah.
it's connected now.
But I
so.
mean, there's no way that they're doing elephant stuff. They're not being, no matter what.
Yeah.
Even if they have a good
They're on.
Yeah.
it's a traveling
They're on
circus.
freight trains.
They don't know what that means.
No, I
Right.
know.
They're on
Freight
freight trains.
trains.
They're in cages that they barely fit in because they're massive. Like there's nothing you can do. We don't have a Serengeti. Like when they're all off season,
Oh,
they're
no,
not.
no,
They're
I'm-
not sending them home.
I'm now picturing that elephant on a train car, like because all our
Yeah.
trains,
Right,
even our
right,
freight
yeah,
trains,
it
are
can
not.
barely
But
turn around.
How?
And
It's
they-
it's gonna be like
yeah.
one of those cartoons where like his skin is popping out the
That's why they
windows and
got-
stuff.
that's why
But
they got rid of it.
They tried to sell the fact that they took care of them, but they couldn't. Clearly,
It's
Right.
impossible.
I
It's
mean,
It's just
you
impossible.
You
Absolutely.
could to an
from
extent.
place to
You could
place
not be.
on a train.
You know.
I mean, again, the exposure that people got to the animals that they would otherwise not get.
Mhm.
Right? Not everybody even in this country, not everybody has a zoo to go to, believe
Right.
it or not.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not every.
But the
state,
circus
city
might
has
show
one.
up close enough that
Where
you get to see
where I
them.
think my opinion on zoos changed slightly was when I went to Africa and saw. I went on like a safari. And saw like 50 elephants running down like this little trail of water,
Right.
and like
Mhm.
the other animals there, and like they were all so dangerous to each other, but they all kind of had respect for each other. Left us, and I'm just like, this is what it's supposed to be. Like
Yeah.
it's so much. It's so much.
Yeah, but I think like I said, part of the zoo's role now is to figure out how to make those animals thrive in the wild,
Yeah.
right? And I know it's kind of counterintuitive that they have, the elephant locked up in a thing and it can't roam around.
Right.
But they're also studying those animals,
Right.
To ensure like they could,
There are good things. I'm not
Yeah,
like fully. I'm
it's
not
a tough one.
anti-zoo. All of
Well,
the
you go to them. So
I go to
obviously
them,
not.
Right.
and like their conservation efforts are, applaudable, whatever. Like all this stuff that they do good. But I feel, and I could be wrong about this. I don't know that much, in detail about what they do. But I feel like a lot of it would be better served to do in a different way. That's not a zoo. Like I think all that stuff, and I think people who work in the zoos are the reason why that even exists. I bet is because people who work in them love animals.
Love animals.
But the people who own the zoo want money.
Right.
I'd imagine. Like I said, I don't know who owns the Bronx Zoo. Maybe it is a conservationist.
it is.
whatever.
It's a society.
No, but I
that's
mean, but there's
conservationist.
people, but people are making money off of it. At some point, it's a business.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's not
Right.
owned. It's not a
course.
nonprofit. I don't think. I mean, if it
It
is,
might
whatever.
be. It might.
I don't
that's
know.
I
Actually,
don't know.
I'll look that up.
we can
But,
look it
even
up.
but even in a nonprofit, there are people getting salaries.
There's still money.
Like,
So,
what-
okay,
I'm not
so
saying.
let's just-
What I mean is, I haven't finished the thought. Sorry.
Sorry.
Is when I mean like conservation can be
Never
better
finish your
served.
thought anyway. Go ahead.
All right, thanks. I bet for the amount of money that it takes to run the Bronx Zoo, you could probably get enclosures all over the world in natural environments that are protected, but where you could raise the animal. You can look over it, a hurt one or endangered. You can cordon off a zone in there. I mean, I'm sure the Bronx Zoo to run it's millions, billions of dollars. I mean, it's like this institution. For that, I'm sure you can set up a better, more animal-oriented conservation effort. But they also want it to be viewable, and I get that, and that's how they bring money in. And I don't, like I said, I love going to zoos. I used to never feel like this, and it was
But if
one
zoos,
time I was just there. I was looking. I think it was particularly I was down in South Carolina, and one of the enclosures, it was a gorilla enclosure, and it was the smallest one I had ever seen. And there was like 6 gorillas, and it was like they usually have gorillas usually have one of the better things because I think people like to see them, so they get a good habitat.
Yeah.
It's a bit bigger. Sometimes you can't even see them.
Right.
This one was, I mean, it was narrow. Like from the back wall to the glass where I was, back wall of the exhibit to the glass was probably, let's say 30 feet. But the 10 in front of you was like a moat
Right.
that they couldn't even, which, they're gorillas. It was probably also used for some other animal at some point. But there was no water, but it was a 10, it was a big drop.
Right.
So they had probably, 20 feet, 15, 20 feet of like a narrow land, and they were all just like sitting up there. And that was it. And
that's sad.
I was there watching, and I was doing a project, so I was there by myself, and it was empty, and I was just like sitting there watching. I got really sad.
so zoos,
And then since then, I've been like, I can't,
Yeah.
like
I
I'm
get
still
that.
gonna go. They're still gonna exist. Saving my money on it isn't gonna change, change zoos. But that's my
Before-
stance on it.
Before you say I got an answer first, so the Bronx Zoo is owned by the Wildlife Conservation Society. It is a nonprofit.
Okay, good for them.
That being said, the
Ugh.
chair manages a huge conglomerate, and he owns they manage a bunch of things. So he's on Conservation Society, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, British Museum, a brewery. It
brewery.
says his net worth is $2.6 billion. So that
2.6 billion?
So that
Wait.
being said,
So somebody's making money. It's,
so
it's
that
part of a
that
business.
being said, it is a nonprofit. He's the chair of the nonprofit, but he's pretty rich. I mean,
yeah,
You
maybe
said
that's how he's
million or
washing his other
billion?
money.
billion,
Whatever.
$2.6 billion.
that's not
pretty
all
good.
from the brewery.
I don't know where
We
it
better
comes
get
from.
those
He
going. We
also,
gotta get
he also owns a
Sign the
minority
papers
stake.
now.
He also owns a minority stake in the Washington Commanders. So he
All right,
guy
so
owns a
he's-
lot of stuff.
He's just a billionaire
He's
guy.
on the
Yeah.
board of the thing. That doesn't mean he's making. Like,
Well, he's the chair. He's
does
the
it
chair.
does it mention? Does he make a salary from
I
that?
don't know.
Yeah.
He could be
I-
rich on his own for
Right.
other things.
I'm
Anyway,
not trying to disparage the
just-
Bronx
all
Zoo.
right,
Well, I'm
hold
just
on.
saying the guy isn't
Let me-
the guy is not an
okay,
animal.
let me reel this
rights
back in.
activist.
Exactly,
He's
is what I
a
meant, yeah.
businessman.
Let me-
in other words, is
which
what I'm trying to say.
Let me reel this back in. So we already angry podcast. So, zoos make you angry.
They do.
They do. They do. You
Like
enjoy
it's a
them,
weird relationship in my head because I do love going.
but if they went
they make
away
you angry.
now
you would
every
be
time
okay
I
with
would
it
be
because you feel
happier if
like
they went
the
away. I'd be okay
animals
with that.
Aren't living their best lives.
I would be okay not seeing them like once every 2 years. It's not like I go every week. I see them once every 2 years. Like they shouldn't have to live like that for me.
No, that's
or
true.
I mean, everybody
Yeah.
else individually goes once a year. Some people probably do go a lot, but I
But
go
is
once
it?
every year
I
or
guess
two.
I'll ask Matt. Do you think the zoos are a necessary evil because of the research they do?
I think the zoos are a necessary evil. Yes, because I think that there are zoos, and I think in New York we have them because when you go to the Bronx Zoo, the Central Park Zoo, they have like the videos. They show you them taking care of the
Right.
animals and stuff. So I'm just gonna assume good faith. I'm gonna say they're not lying, and that's the truth.
Are you
And-
saying lion or lion?
Lying, lying.
It's a good one.
But no, I'm gonna assume that they're not lying, and they are. And so in that case, it's good, right? Because they take animals who couldn't survive in the wild anyway. They teach you about them, and they take care of them, which is that's good all around.
So
That being said, you can abuse that because people will assume good faith for zoos, like I said, and you cannot be doing those things, and people will know. It's like there was the whole thing on SeaWorld, which is like more of an
yeah.
aquarium, but people found out over time.
yeah,
Right.
it's harder with
It's-
large sea mammals.
Well,
I
yeah.
think it's much harder,
Oh, yeah.
right?
But
They
Let the
seem
whales
to-
go too. I love aquariums.
they
I'm
seem
okay with
to have a
aquariums
harder
completely.
time.
Really?
really,
Fully fine with
Now
aquariums,
that
except
one-
for whales and sharks.
Whales?
No,
That's
they don't have it. Like
Other than whales, sharks, and dolphins, fish have no
Well,
idea
fish
what's going
forget,
on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Fish have
forget.
no idea
the
what's
world
going
for
on.
them out there is endless. They can go everywhere, and now
But
they
they
have
don't
this.
know.
But they don't know.
We don't know.
Well,
they
most-
don't know.
No,
They
because
don't
we
know.
do.
We
They
don't
say
know.
fish generally stay in the
We
same
don't
area.
know
dumb.
what they really know.
Fish are
How do
dumb.
we know that?
Look
They
at 'em.
say, they do research. They
Look
did
at
research.
Look at them. They're all.
They look
They're
stupid.
weird.
No,
Man.
they do say
Listen,
fish
if they
tend to
closed,
stand in the same area.
if they close the zoos and the
So do you.
So forget like SeaWorld and stuff, right? I mean, they say their conservation is also doing the same kind of work, but if they closed the zoos to the public, but still did the work behind because they still want to do that research,
And they need them. Like they need
Right.
them. On
Wait, the
premises.
same
Would
the
that be-
same idea they're doing now, but we can't go see
but
them.
we can't go see it
Ah,
because
no.
because I think the point is like you said you'll go see it once, twice a year or whatever it is, and it makes you feel bad because like you're going, but they still want to do the research, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
And sometimes that research is for a good cause, right?
Right.
You know, so like if they shut the zoos down, would that make you any happier?
No.
That they were just
I
doing the
think-
research
Not
behind
me.
the scenes
I think
and
you're
not
taking-
using
me.
the animals for
I think
I
Like-
think because the me going to see it, I'm paying for it. So if that's going towards the research,
Well, that's what I'm saying.
that's the idea of them.
That's
Right.
the
They
idea.
open
so
it
then it's worth it
as
for
a
that.
donation.
Right.
In other words, it's basically practically a donation to.
Because you don't otherwise donate
Donate.
to animals in your
That's a good
regular
point.
life
Right.
unless
That's a
you
good
go
point.
to the zoo.
Because I wouldn't. Yeah.
So when you
Right.
go
Yeah,
to the zoo,
I suppose
now
most
you're
people
giving
don't.
some money to the
It's
research.
like a forced
That's what I'm
donation. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
They
In that
would-
regard,
they
But
would
I-
have to
but-
have another stream.
I can
to-
accept
Right.
that.
But if they are
I just
gonna-
wish there was another. I wish there was something else.
Right, but if you're saying
You
they're
know?
going to close the zoo out for people and still do it, would you go? Like, I'd still want to go then because I do enjoy seeing.
So
the
what if they
animals.
turned the zoo, right?
Mhm.
So we'll go around and ask this question. So you know they took an unlimited, not an unlimited amount of space because that's impossible, but they took enough of space to have an actual herd of elephants, right?
Mhm.
Whatever that space
Yeah.
equates to, right? And you got to go there like a safari almost,
Right.
But it was hit or miss whether you're going to see the animals, right?
Right.
Because you
Mhm.
couldn't get everywhere.
Right.
It
It's
was
too big.
Right,
that's
right.
Right. So in other words, we're not Africa, and we tend to be talking about African animals, but there's animals
Yeah.
like
Well, the,
You know,
the
if
most
you
like
wanna
the
go-
really large
if you
ones.
want to go
are-
looking for a
the
grizzly
Serengeti.
bear in
Right.
the wild, there's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
certain
same
amount
idea.
of risk that comes with that. But
Right.
you go to Bronx Zoo, you see those two beautiful grizzly bears, and you're in awe of it, right?
Yes, yes.
Because you're protected.
No, but you hope you're protected. Like,
Yeah, be like, oh,
because
wow,
I
you're
know, I
looking at this
watched the
animal.
videos of the guys backing down the trail with the grizzly bear. I know, like I'm a meal for that grizzly bear because
Mm.
the first thing I'm gonna do is run.
I would. Well, that's why you have to be in a protected thing, like a
Yeah.
car.
And
or
I'm gonna leave a
a
trail
truck.
of shit and piss, so he's gonna find me. Like even if I outrun him for a little while for some
He's
reason,
got a good trail.
He's got a good trail because I'm gonna
I-
like.
The fact that he said he's going to outrun it for just a little while.
He's quick. He's quick for short distances.
Quick for a short distance.
Yeah, I got the same thing.
I'd really impress you for a short distance.
5 yards, I'll beat him off the line.
Yeah.
You know.
You have the
Make a
flight.
move,
you have the
but-
flight part down.
No,
you could run away.
Oh man.
but the fact that you can go see these animals in a safe place. Like I'm
Is
deathly
awesome. No, I
afraid of
agree.
gorillas.
Yeah.
I have dreams about gorillas chasing me. Right?
Yeah. I've heard it for years, actually.
Really?
Nightmares.
Because I figured, they're not just, they're not just a wild animal, but they're also pretty intelligent, right?
Yeah, no, they're scary.
No,
They're
yeah,
scary.
they're pretty
They're
funny.
impressive.
They could rip
They're
your
impressive,
arms
yeah.
off, which is kind of
I guess
scary.
if
Yeah.
you ran
Yeah.
into one,
You know?
I mean,
I'm just saying,
like-
I don't know. It's the thing.
I
But
think-
I love going to look at the
I do-
gorillas.
no, I
man,
do.
you know,
I-
and
I
sitting like
agree.
face to face with them.
I agree.
And-
I
and
just
you would never. I mean, not you would never, but a lot of people, will never have the opportunity to see a gorilla in the wild.
Well, that's one of the coolest things about zoos, especially seeing. I mean, most animals, but animals from other countries.
I mean, a tiger.
like yeah,
Like you
that's-
would never see a
Completely
tiger.
impressive.
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Like the only way you would ever, other than that, is if you're hunting one. Like, is probably the only other way you run into, or you're dead.
When it's jumping out of
You
the
know,
high
like, or it
grass,
catches
the
you.
last thing you see in
Right,
life is
right.
it jumping out of the high grass.
Or it catches you.
Guy, look, tiger. Ah.
Yeah, but like you'd have to be looking for it, if you're gonna find it in the wild. It's
Right.
insane. I'm imagining the only way you're doing that is if you're hunting, or you join the conservation effort and you got to catch it somehow.
I saw
Yeah.
a video.
Still kind of hunting it just with a trank dart.
I saw a video. I don't know, sometime where these people were on safari. I guess safari you call it, but they were out in the mountains, looking for gorillas. and a silverback comes walking by, and the guide is like, "Just sit still, don't move." I'm like, "How?
No, how do you
I'm like,
just sit
how?
still?
I'm sorry, man. I don't know. Like these
You're-
people must have
Your dinner because you're gonna run. But how do you not run?
like at some point. how
Yeah,
do
I don't know. I'd be
I don't
scared.
know. I don't know
I'd be
how they
scared.
do it. The cougars, right? You ever see the people back?
Oh
on the
yeah,
trail?
and they do
the
that weird
coug-
jump thing. Yeah. I'd shoot them if I had a gun. Like a
Oh,
lot of
like-
those videos, they have guns,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and all the comments are always saying like, "Good on you for not." I'm like, I'm sorry. Like,
I'm
I
sorry.
would feel bad about it, but I would 100% shoot it.
It's you
like
and
that'd
me.
be my first thought.
It's you and me.
Yeah, that'd be my first. Like, I wouldn't wait for it to charge
Like,
me.
I don't want to kill you, but you
know?
look like you want to kill me.
Yeah, I'm like, sorry, we made guns. In a couple million
Sorry,
years,
you didn't make the
we'll
You
duke
might
this
make-
out. Like, I'm not gonna fist fight you.
What if the gorilla grabs the gun, right? Because it's so close,
Sure, you're
That's
gonna know
not
how to
good.
use it.
That's not
and it
good.
figures out how to use it. It sees you using
It
it.
might
just
figure
They
it
right
out.
only, they
to
only
you.
got to see it
chimp-
once.
I think a chimp,
The-
chimp would
a
figure
chimp
it out.
definitely could. They seem a bit more crafty,
Yeah.
A gorilla might like break the gun or hit you with it. Like I feel like a chimp would be like, "What's going on with this?"
That's scary.
Especially if you had shot him or shot at him.
Rip
you know?
your face.
Yeah, like you
Terrifying.
do a warning shot, so
Terrifying.
it just comes up, takes the
Yeah.
gun from you.
Yeah.
It's like
Well, I think
They're
funny
completely
enough, I
cute
think
until they're not anymore.
part of my zoo perspective, right, of not liking the fact that they're trapped. It's specific to certain animals in that I think some of them are not made for this thing. Other ones are completely fine. It seems. I don't know. Maybe none of them, but like
Right.
elephants is a great example. They're like migratory.
They love
They
running.
are over. They're an elephant in the wild lives over a vast distance.
Yeah.
Right.
There are animals that live in a place.
Like a
And
sloth.
so you make that place the zoo, no problems.
Yeah.
You know, like even like I don't think gorillas migrate a bit, but it's less than like elephants. You know, they kind of live in a similar, I believe at least, live in like a similar area. You know, they travel slowly, but it's not for them. It's localized. But you know, I think they're just so like they're as a creature. You know, pretty close to what we would call consciousness. Like they have a bit more of a process going on
Right.
than like a salamander.
Yeah.
And so I think I'd imagine part of that they get the trappedness, even if they can't obviously like a person
So
explain it. I feel like a part of them, tigers, like they gotta hunt. That has to be a natural,
Exactly.
has to be a natural thing, and they
Well, it
can't
depends
do
if
it.
they're
in
raised.
zoos.
A lot of them
But
are
until
raised
it's
at the
not.
zoo.
But
right?
I imagine I don't think it's
But it's
raised,
still
man.
a
they
It's
have
thing.
an
it's a
instinct.
tiger.
They do have an
It's
instinct.
this
They have an
like
instinct.
for
But
however long evolution made it to do this thing,
Right.
and now you're not letting it. Like we can figure out, a human can figure out, like,
Right.
oh, I wasn't raised to do it, I don't do it. But like animals don't. Like
I
feel
mean,
like,
that's true, but I don't know. I feel like it's less so. Like, I feel like they don't miss it as much if they're not raised.
I
don't
just
know.
think
Being taught
that
I doubt it.
Here-
Tigers don't
here's-
try to attack people.
here,
Like they don't know. They're
no, I
they're
mean,
always
yeah.
doing it.
Right.
the thing is the space relativity, right?
Right.
Generally.
Right.
So I mean, the bigger the animal, the less you feel that animal should be enclosed anywhere.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
Yeah. Generally.
You know. And,
The other thing is-
and as it gets smaller and smaller, it's kind of okay, right?
But what about
Because-
the weather and all the natural things around it? Like a lot of elephants aren't used to being like,
Well, that's
in-
what I feel
cold
bad
weather,
about.
in a
zoos
cold-
yeah,
mainly
snow.
You know?
is like polar bears,
And
snow
that-
leopards,
right.
and you go and visit the
Just
zoo.
saying.
Do you know there's
the-
a
Was it
in the
whole
San
summer.
Diego Zoo? Polar bears. San
And-
Diego
Yeah.
Zoo.
No, I went
Like
to the
you-
Central Park Zoo in the summer. The snow leopard, it was just laying down. Like
Yeah,
it's just not
bec-
supposed to be in the heat.
because
like, you
you
could tell
can't
it just
handle it.
didn't want
And that's
to
what I'm
be.
saying. It's not like they do it. Like, what do they do with all? And then
Do you
what do
know
they do with the
there's-
animals during the
there's
closed months?
desert elephants?
Desert elephants?
Like full desert.
Full
I didn't know
desert
that.
elephants. Yeah, somewhere in the world. I was watching a show last week.
I
I
didn't
should have
know
took notes.
I didn't know.
Alright.
that.
And they're adapted for the desert. Like their pads are a little bigger for the sand.
Oh wow.
Nice.
And they migrate from
Elephants
like,
drink a lot too. How do they
oasis
s-
to oasis.
Really?
They drink like 50
Actually, I think I
gallons
have
of
seen
water.
that. now that I'm
Do they
thinking
have like
about that.
camelback humps for the water?
No, they
Well,
drink a
just
lot of
elephants.
water and are sitting in general.
Yeah, they can hold
But,
it forever.
you know.
though. They have good retention. They don't sweat. Animals don't sweat. I mean, like the only ones.
So we're a little split. Like I guess we all feel the same way about zoos. Like we like them for a certain aspect,
Right.
but we feel like in some cases
I like
the
them if they're
animals
done
really should-
right.
Yeah,
I
guess
don't think
essentially.
there's a need for the bug house. Like I don't want.
That's
I don't
weird.
Just
need
because
to
you
see
don't like bugs.
African hissing
No, it's weird.
cockroaches.
But you guys just don't
Well,
like.
some
so there
people
are
like
people who like
bugs.
bugs.
Yeah, I
Some
know. They're
people
all
like
And
bugs
they keep
people.
it so dark, and you always think
do.
there's going to be a bug
for
crawling
the
on you.
for the bugs.
But
they
those-
like that. They want to be under stuff.
But those too, like you go into those rooms, and as you were saying, like what are those little gator things? Not now. Why can't I
The
get the
little
animal?
gator things.
Komodo dragon.
Like even those and the other ones.
talking
I
about?
don't- yeah, I
I-
don't
Lizards,
know.
lizards,
Lizards, any kind of lizard. Let's go with
Gecko.
lizard.
An
Gecko,
iguana?
that's
Gecko,
what. Now
gecko.
you got them all. That's it. But they have them in little fish tanks. They also love a lot of space. And how can you say that that's comfortable for them? It
Yeah,
doesn't
I
make
don't know,
sense.
you
And they
know.
put one little log in there.
Mhm.
You know,
I don't know.
I
I've
don't-
never done the research. I haven't.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
hard to- I don't know
what
if they
animal-
even have
right.
any
I don't know.
capacity.
Are we
City.
saying they're stupid too?
I think so.
They might
Dumber.
be.
I don't think
I don't
so.
know.
They're dumber
I've-
than like
I've never
elephants,
done the research. Like
know?
my assumption, like I said, my assumption for zoos is just that they did the work, and so if the habitat is a
try to
certain
take
way,
care of them.
I just assume that they know better than I do about taking care of the animal because I don't know anything about
Or,
taking
you,
care of a
or you're in it
lizard.
to make $2.6 billion.
Exactly.
Well,
Not
yeah.
all from the zoo.
Well, yeah, he probably didn't make it from. My point
From
in
the
saying
brewery.
that
He was
wasn't
saying
that he
it's a
was making money.
businessman.
I'm saying he's a businessman. He's not a
Right,
scientist.
of
Well,
course.
sometimes you need a business.
No, I
man
agree.
run
To run a
things.
business.
I'm not
Yeah.
arguing about that. I just meant like I'm sure at some level
It's
there's
he's
a
running it like a
for-profit
business.
thing of it.
He's not
you know?
running it like
There's
a.
expenses, there's
yeah.
whatever.
Of course, there always is.
Yeah, I hadn't
So let's
considered the
talk about
donation thing, which
The conservation.
that's good.
Like, you know, the fact that they help save animals that are extinct or going extinct.
Mhm.
So that is a plus, I guess, right? That's,
Yeah.
You know, that's something that you need, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
I agree.
Snowball.
I want to ask Michael.
Well, I know where you're.
You
I
know
know
what
where
I'm
you're
gonna
leading me
ask
to.
you.
All right.
How do
So
you feel
I-
about animals going extinct? I can't wait to hear this.
part of the last thing on the zoo, it's actually not about this. It's just a pivot to what I'm about to say because it's whatever. Part of the reason why I'm okay getting rid of zoos is because like I don't care to see animals. Like I like seeing them when they're around. You know what I mean? Like the zoos exist, so I'm gonna go and I'm in awe at these animals. But like if I had never seen one, I don't think it would affect me in life. You know, it's kind of like if you had never had this thing, how can you miss it?
Right.
You know, if they got rid of zoos, I'm like I can't go see the polar bear. You know,
You wouldn't care.
but for animals in the wild, I don't really care. Like, I don't think it's good. We shouldn't be trying to make things go extinct. But if in the natural processes they do, it's like, whatever, you know? Like, the ice caps are melting, right? Save the polar bears. I'm like, all right, from a global warming perspective of, like, saving the Earth, fine. But, like, to save the polar bears, like, whatever. Like, I've never seen them. They don't affect me. They have a polar bear in the wild has no bearing on my life. I've never seen one. I never will, right? Like, if they go extinct, it would only be somebody telling me. They might not. You could tell me tomorrow. You could tell all of us that polar bears are extinct. And I'll say, okay. And then, like, and that's it. You know what I mean? So I don't really care that much about animals, like, going extinct. Like, I feel like it's a natural thing. It's bad now because we always say, like, humans are doing it. And maybe we are in some instances.
But do you feel bad that there are some animals that went extinct that you never got to see, that you would wanted to have seen?
Yeah.
I mean,
He
I
said
would
he
have,
doesn't care about
yeah.
seeing animals.
I guess in
Dinosaurs?
well, right in the idea of like there's an extinct animal that you'll never get to see. I guess
They're bringing woolly mammoths
But my
back.
point would be, you only know about all these things because you're also told about them. Like these are these things that I do not interact with.
Right.
Right.
I have no. So you could tell me we brought this thing back, right, in Eurasia. Woolly mammoths are back in Eurasia. I'll be like, all right, I hope that's cool. Like, show me a picture. I'll never see it, you know, unless they bring it to a zoo.
Or you go there.
Or I go there, right? But I just mean there's so many animals
Right.
in so many parts of the world that I don't care about,
You never-
and I don't think about other than when they text, you know, or not text. You get that article, you know, oh, this animal just went extinct, and everybody's like, oh, really sad for a day.
You never felt
It's
the
just like a
need
non-
to see a dodo bird or something?
Not like the need to.
It's funny
Like
you
it's cool.
say
You
that.
hear about an extinct animal that's cool, and you're like, oh, I'd like to see that, but that's where it ends. You know, it's just like the whole extinction effort. I think it's good to not like if an animal's
Michael-
endangered, try to save it. I
Michael's-
just don't care.
you don't
It's funny.
care.
Michael's whole
So-
persona is, and it's building as we go through these shows. He doesn't care about a lot of stuff.
He doesn't.
He really doesn't care about a lot
He
of stuff.
doesn't care.
Right?
No.
Wait, I mean, think about it. Like,
Well, it's
one of
funny
those
you
things
put
that
it
people
that way.
care about
No, no,
because
no.
they're told to care
Well,
about.
no,
Well,
but they don't care about it. The reason they tie, in my opinion, I feel like the reason that they tied the polar bears to the ice caps melting was because they want to save the environment, and people often empathize with animals.
Yes.
For sure.
So it's funny
Yes,
that you
it's a
had the
tool.
total opposite reaction. That you actually care less about the environment now because you're like, oh, the polar bears go extinct. Whatever.
When I see one of those videos of the sad
going-
polar bear
You
on
feel
a,
bad.
on a,
Oh,
I feel bad.
I
like
feel
I don't
so
That's
like
the whole
bad.
point. You're supposed to feel bad.
But what I mean is, I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's not. I don't wish ill on animals. I don't hope any go
but it
extinct.
doesn't affect
but
you
in the
in
way
your
that
everyday life.
yeah.
exactly, it
I
has
wanna
no
know what-
bearing on me, so I do not care.
What do you
You're
do?
not really like. I mean, if monkeys, chimpanzees went extinct, they wouldn't bother you
That would.
because you like
Yeah, what if
seeing them.
gorillas? What if gorillas? went
That would
extinct?
just that. Yeah, like the apes, the great apes.
Right. If they
Because I
went
would want. I want them out in the world. I want to know they're there. You know,
But polar bears.
But
on the
polar
other.
bears,
So you're like
bears-
selective
Really?
on what animals you care about.
those are probably the only ones. No, I can't. It's not about. It's okay.
What about bears?
If tomorrow,
Other
right?
bears.
There was something came out, whatever, that conservation thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Said, hey, like African elephants are going extinct. There's 10 left. I would say that's really sad. That this is a majestic creature, you know.
Yeah.
And then I would never think about it
Think about
again.
it again.
Wow.
That's just my point. Like I'm not
Well, I think-
somebody who that's a thing for
I
me.
think once it's
Conservation
done, it's
is
done
not
kinda
my thing.
Well,
right?
yeah.
There's like nothing you could do.
Yeah,
I mean, they're
know, but
trying.
It's
They-
still more emotional, I would think. I want to see what happens when the Sarah McLaughlin commercial comes on with all the
With the dogs.
Oh,
with the
I don't-
dog. Like you don't even
Whatever.
care. You don't even care.
It's
Like
it's just like
he doesn't.
it's just like a tool to get people to feel bad. I don't.
I get it. I agree, but I tear up. I get really
I don't,
emotional
like, I
about
don't
it.
think
You're
that
just like
it's sad.
whatever.
Like, it's a sad thing. I get that. You
We'll
know what I
get
mean?
into
Like it's
how
like I
much you love
register.
animals.
I just don't. You know. I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect me.
Well, everybody's relationship with animals is different.
Absolutely.
I guess so.
Johnny walks his dog in a baby carriage.
I do not do
And
that.
doesn't eat cows.
That's a
because
lie.
He loves
But
them
I
so
do
much.
love animals a lot. And that is a fact.
Except
I
he
don't.
doesn't like chickens.
I don't eat cows because of cows. One of my favorite animals.
I
and
love cows. For
I
the
don't want to
milk.
hurt it. I love it. Listen,
I love milk, man.
if I can
I-
get away without eating chicken, I would. But like, I don't like tofu. I don't like fruits. I don't
need
like
some
vegetables.
protein.
I need something to live off, or I'm going to die.
Beans.
What about plant-based?
Unfortunately,
Have you tried plant-based anything?
Yeah.
I don't like plants either. And plants,
Plant-based, not. I'm talking about
No.
like plant-based meat, like Impossible.
yeah, but it's
Burger.
made out of a plant, right? So that's kind of a living thing. I'm killing that too. No,
But, so,
and all the
wait,
animal-
so
and all
is
the
it
ins-
animals or is it
it's
living
odd.
things?
well, living things in general, but animals mostly. Like if I had to choose a fly or a cow, I'm saving the cow and crushing the fly.
Yeah.
But
There's levels.
like
And so
I
if you
do.
had to, if you had to save a cow or kill a chicken, you're killing the chicken every time.
Well, I had to pick one, and I feel bad, and I've gone back and forth many times. Like I'm going to stop this, and then obviously people in my life, like I can't deal with your eating habits already, so we're not putting up with that.
Not putting up with that.
And I have to.
I don't understand the like. I guess if people only want to eat certain things, that's fine. That's their business. I don't understand the avoiding meat because you love animals, because the whole circle of life,
Yeah.
That's
right?
what I think.
Something's eating something,
Yeah.
and it's okay. So if you just consider us another animal in that chain, right? Because I mean, just we don't hang around grizzly bears.
Right, but what you're
But a grizzly
saying,
bear would tear me up.
I get what
Yeah,
you're
right?
saying, the
Yeah.
circle of life, but what I guess I look at is like, if the cow died naturally and you ate it, I'd be all right with it. But they're killing it. for
Yeah, I
you
think
to eat
that's
it.
like not vegan, but like the vegetarian, the ethical vegetarian angle. I think is more so like the process that we use.
But-
Like,
but the
a lot of
circle
them
of
are okay
life
with
is-
hunters. What I mean, if you moved out
Right.
into the wilderness and hunted for
Yeah.
your food, they're like, that's okay.
Yeah.
They don't like the fact that there's a machine that's
that
feeding a
does it.
cow
Yeah,
to
yeah.
you,
Right.
you know,
Right.
at a grocery store. Like
Right,
you're not, the
I get it. I
the
mean,
Well, hey,
debate
listen,
of
the cow should have thought of it first.
The world, the
And
world,
look-
the
and look,
world
I-
needs to
and-
be-
make
cow
guns,
should
And
have
I'm
man.
not
First.
mad at anyone for doing it. I'm not one of those people. Like you eat meat and you eat all
No,
meats.
yeah.
I'm okay with it. And I understand there's farms
Well,
out
I'm
there
not
that are
saying-
growing it for the purpose
To
of just
be-
feeding you.
Right.
Do I like it? No. But am I mad at you guys? No, that's you. And I don't judge on that.
Mm.
It's just
No,
I just
there-
love
there
I
are
just love
messed up-
animals too much
there-
to like do that.
There are some
Yeah.
systems that even I like. I love cheeseburgers, is my favorite food. Like I'll eat, but there are
Yeah, but you're eating McDonald's and that's not real meat.
no, but I don't usually eat McDonald's. Like
things
those
too I
aren't
don't
my
care about.
those aren't my favorite burgers.
But think about this: Johnny has never had a cheeseburger.
yeah,
in his
it's
life.
Never.
pretty sad.
Ever?
He's
Never.
never. No, he's never had.
Wow.
But he,
That's
No.
nuts.
but just
Never.
he did tell me yesterday.
I did.
He said when we hit 1,000 views.
I don't think I said 1,000.
He said 1,000. When we
It might
hit
have been a million.
when we hit 1,000 views
He's
on
gonna
the
eat a cheeseburger.
podcast, he's gonna eat a cheeseburger live.
All right, that'll
on
be
air.
fun. That'll be good.
Wait,
Yeah.
a whole I thought it was gonna be a White Castle cheeseburger.
A slider.
We'll
all
start
right.
with
A
a
slider.
We'll start
Yeah,
with a
don't-
slider.
don't-
You might like it.
But there are some systems right that I will say are pretty messed up for. But at the same, I agree with you to a certain extent that like there are also, I guess they say they're like ethical ways
I
of
think there's
raising the
ethical-
cows, like
Yeah, yeah.
like whatever it is. There are certain things that it's like, listen, if none of this society stuff existed, we'd be killing them anyway. You know, we'd be
You're
killing
right.
them anyway.
Exactly. It's the way they're killing them, and I understand that's what people talk about. But yeah, I mean, if they closed all the farms down and you had to hunt for your food,
Mm.
you'd be killing it.
Right.
And you're not necessarily killing it in the most ethical way either, right? You know, sometimes you take a shot at something and it,
Bleeds out over
Right,
yeah,
time.
it's like,
Takes
right?
forever. Yeah.
You know, so
Well,
like,
that's why I think you should just start eating.
I don't know what I would
halal
do.
food. I think you should start eating halal food. That's the most ethical way to
I
kill an
really,
animal.
if we had to go into a world where you're like shooting your own food or what,
Couldn't do it.
I don't know what I would eat because I couldn't hurt it. I can't hurt things. Like I have a hard time killing an insect in my house. I'm like, and I have to go like talk myself into it. Like,
Johnny?
well, you're in my house. You're kind of invading my space.
yes,
I have the door
Right,
here.
that's the
You
truth.
can leave. You got a couple
Ask it
minutes.
to go.
After that, I have to get you.
Yeah.
So that's the only
No,
time.
I agree with
Don't
that.
kill
You know?
insects outside.
I don't
I'm
want to
saying
kill, so
wanna
I don't know
kill
what I
it,
would do
But if you
for
needed
food.
to kill something to survive,
Well, you
I
have
couldn't.
to.
or
You
what
do
if the
have
thing
to.
that you were
I wouldn't.
killing
Was
right,
attacking you.
was willing to kill you? Does that change things a little bit?
I mean, yeah, like you guys
Like
said.
you're out hiking and
yeah,
a mountain lion
yeah.
jumps
yeah,
down.
mountain lion. Like, yeah, it's going.
It's one or the
it's,
other.
it's gonna happen. Yeah, I'm gonna have. I mean, I'm
Right?
dying. I'm sure. I know I'm dying. But I'm
But you're
gonna
gonna fight it.
I'm gonna fight it.
And you're gonna try and fight it to death.
And then I'm sure he's gonna have a podcast somewhere talking about his how he doesn't want to kill people, but he had to eat.
But he had
But he's
to.
got to eat.
He's got to eat.
Right after they make guns, you know.
Exactly. He's like, they made guns. They thought that can beat us, but
I think it's so interesting that you decided you loved animals, so you didn't want to eat meat, which is it's
That's
commendable.
noble, that's
and
very
so, yeah, it's a
noble,
noble
sure.
thing.
Right.
But
I
you did
agree.
also create a hierarchy where you chose an animal that you could kill. Like you did choose an animal at a certain point that its life is worth less than a cow, so you can eat it.
So it's interesting because my mother cooked all kinds of meat, and I can't even tell you how young I was when I stopped eating meat. Like I was young. I was getting really sick. I wasn't eating anything because again, I hate fruit. I hate vegetables.
Yeah.
I wasn't eating anything. I was like getting really sick. My teeth were getting loose and everything. And I went to a doctor. They put me on like medicine, and I was young. And for some reason, I also didn't like medicine. I didn't like the whole thing of like taking pills and doing like so.
Yeah, me either.
Like I went finally like I remember like you have to do something, and I think I don't remember it because I was really young. I was definitely like young, like 10, 12 when like this hit. And I think I stopped eating meat before that. And they were like, a conversation like, you're just gonna die.
You need some
like
protein,
you
like
need to
some
eat
actual
something.
substance.
Yeah.
So I remember having this conversation with my father, and I was just like, I'm not eating a cow. Like I'm not gonna do it. And I was like, I'll do chicken, I guess. And I did it, and that was the only thing I ever touched. And it hurts me.
And
Noble enough.
turkeys.
It hurts me. Yeah. And in a funny way, I like
Birds.
people. I
Birds.
and that's the wrong word to use because like a vegetarian, like for.
Oh,
but
right.
I always like, well, I'm a birdgetarian because I only eat birds.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, there's
but-
a word. What's the
but-
word for like birds?
I don't know.
Yeah, I
the
know.
word one.
But it's all.
Vegetarian.
But then it's not true either because I won't eat a duck and I won't eat other things. It's just a chicken.
Only chicken and
I
turkey.
want to have
Only
duck so
chicken and
bad.
turkey.
You
Never
never
had
had it?
Only
I had
chicken
it
and
once.
turkey.
Wow, that's
And
interesting.
I do. I really don't want to do it. But the people in my life would kill me if I stopped killing the chicken.
Well, you would die.
I would die too.
You would also die.
Yeah.
Why didn't you go for pork? Like I know cows
Oh,
were like your
no,
favorite
'cause
animal, but why
Pigs
did you
are
go
so
for pig?
cute. I love a pig. He's so cute. I could say because I'm gonna say I love a pig, and you're gonna say yeah, I love bacon too. So I can always see that part.
I'm not saying it.
But
No, I
I
didn't
I
say
just love
Not
pigs.
anymore.
You should have saw
thing.
like obviously I go to Ireland a lot, and I know people there who have farms, and I am like this little kid. A funny story. One of the people I know there has a bunch of cows, and I was like, oh, I love this cow. Right? There was a baby cow. I was like, I love this cow. I want to adopt it. He's like, you can adopt it, right? So like send him money every couple of weeks to feed it, whatever. Never did that, obviously, because I knew him well. But I think it was like 6 months later. I just like, how's my cow doing? He's like, oh, he tasted good.
Yeah.
I was like, you asshole.
That's
That is the way of the world,
So,
especially on
like,
farms.
well,
I mean,
you
he
know,
raised
what
the
is
cow,
this?
right? I mean,
I know, but I was really upset
Especially
about
on
it.
farm. Yeah, on farms.
Yeah.
That's,
was-
that's life.
Really
I have
upset.
a friend who used to tell me they got, not like as a gift, but every Christmas they would get a new baby pig.
Oh my god.
But every Christmas they would have a
They would
big
have a
pork
pig.
dinner.
So their gift was their
It's like
dinner
a
for the next
cycle.
Christmas. Oh my god.
kind of
pretty
like
crazy.
that.
I don't know if
Kinda,
I'm that
you know,
heartless.
like-
I don't know if I
Oh.
can raise an animal and then
Oh.
kill it.
I
You
could.
know?
I don't.
know if I could do that.
I wouldn't. I mean, if I was hunting, I don't think I'd be objected to shooting. Like hunting an animal.
Right,
But
right.
I would. I don't enjoy killing animals. Like that's not why.
No, well,
I do
I-
eat meat.
That,
you
No.
know?
Yeah, exactly. I just feel like for the amount of meat I eat, if I had the opportunity to kill the animal myself
Right.
and do it, I would be doing that.
If I had to.
You
Yeah.
could,
So
Not the
you could hunt.
opportunity. I mean,
you
you
think
do
you
have
could
the
be a hunter?
opportunity.
yeah, for sure.
Like if
But-
Honestly,
Really?
hunting, I've hunted before.
Oh,
I've
you
never
have.
caught anything. But you get so pissed off sitting in the freezer woods that you'll shoot nearly anything that runs by. Believe me, after
I
a
agree.
while.
I agree with that.
right? It's like even if I went out there first and said, I don't know if I could shoot anything,
By the end, you're
you
like,
sit out there 6 hours, freezing cold, and you're like, anything comes by, it's dead.
it's that.
It's just out of anger.
I can't hunt. Obviously, I can't even fish for the same reason. I won't kill.
Really?
And I won't. I feel horrible killing the fish with a hook. And to put even, I feel bad putting the worm, killing the worm to kill the fish.
that's
It's-
far, man.
It's
That's crazy.
it's bad.
That's deep.
It's bad. And I get really mad. So this is kind of counter of what I'm saying. I get really mad at people who fish for joy and then just take the hook out
And give
or
it
don't
back?
I
and
don't
throw
like
it back.
that
But
either,
why?
yeah.
It
That-
just lives.
I don't like
I
that
I
either.
don't-
Fish live.
Because
I don't-
you
how-
put it through all that pain for what?
Yeah, you put through a
They
pain for
didn't
nothing.
deserve that.
I don't think
Stop
fish,
saying fish,
Fish
don't
feel
do it.
pain. Fish
I
feel
don't-
pain. They do
yeah,
feel
but-
pain.
They have to feel pain. Everybody
but
feels
I
pain.
imagine
Everything.
There's also a difference between like a person going through pain. The way you process pain is different than an animal registering pain.
We don't know
I
that.
guess so.
We
I
don't
just,
know.
I mean,
Okay.
I don't
Because
know
there's a
though.
physical-
Say he doesn't feel pain, right? Then you have the people that just cut the rope and leave the hook there. That's got to be.
No, it's not good. I
Uncomfortable.
just mean
No, you
at
gotta-
least they're giving
you
it
gotta
back.
at least take the hook.
At least they're not killing
That's
it.
the right
No,
thing
I
to
think
do.
I
I
don't
think
know.
if you're
To
gonna
your thing.
if you're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
hunt in any aspect, including fishing, you eat it. That's what you should do.
So as
think
I said, like
that's
so
the
I don't
way-
get angry.
You don't
like,
do it for sport. You do it.
I know people get angry about the how they kill the animals and the
Yeah.
mass killing of them.
Yeah.
But I'm think from my perspective, if I could buy a cow a year,
Mhm.
and I had to kill it and butcher it up, that's what I would do.
I'm not
You
mad
try
at any of
that.
that because I don't know the science and like I'm not one of these people that are jumping on the bandwagon like, oh, that's wrong. This I don't
Mhm.
know. Like everybody joins a side with this
So-
stuff. I'm just neutral. I'm like, listen, it happens. People do it. People like it. People don't like it. That's fair, and that's it.
So
it's just my preference.
I'll ask Johnny the next question. I will segue into. So what about, there are cultures that eat animals that, for us, generally speaking, are pets, right?
Mhm.
So dogs,
Oh,
obviously, cats,
Don't do it.
Yeah.
maybe. Like, how do you feel about that? That must
I-
make you extremely angry.
Yeah, I guess every society is different. Like what decided a dog was a house pet, But it is for me. And like, I don't want to go to Asia where they're eating dogs. I mean, I'll go, but I don't want to eat dog.
Right,
But
right.
it's just wrong. They're so lovable, so cute, so perfect.
I think
Wild dogs, I don't know, but pets,
I think pets are a weird relationship.
there's a list of pets that should not be
begin with.
dinner
Dinner, right.
anywhere.
I don't
For
know.
us, but for
For
other
us,
For
but
anyone,
them, but
for
I feel like
anyone.
pets are
But
such a
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of animals that don't really get eaten in this world, right? Like, do people eat lion? Like, is
Yes.
sure somewhere.
Probably.
Do they really?
Like, I don't.
I just assume
It's
that
probably not a
somewhere
good
every
meat. Like certain
animal
things are
gets
just not
eaten.
good meat.
There
I'm
was-
just-
They
there
probably
was- there was a
tried.
'Cause there's
market
like a
Somebody
hand-
has.
in Manhattan that was selling all kinds of
Because there's a
bullshit like that.
handful of animals, and that's
smuggled.
it, that are really like the normal
main
food, the
protein
main
animals.
food.
Well, you could
Right?
go to
Dogs must have not have been one of them. Like, someone ate dog
Yeah.
back in the day, way back in the day. He's like, not
Not
good.
the thing. Yeah.
And then
I
he
know
made
what
it
you
a
mean.
pet.
How did we get with? How
So-
did we end up with the?
Right. So why are some people still
How do you
don't
know
eat
it's
it?
not good though?
Because I feel like it would be bigger in most places.
well, you can go to
No,
you
I
can
don't
go
I don't know.
to Bear Burger and get
Bison.
bison and ostrich and like a
Weird-
lot
like
of
weird
like,
meats,
yeah,
yeah, stuff like
exotic.
Mm.
I mean, to your, I hadn't thought about that, but probably a lot of it is just the reproducibility of it.
Right.
Like it's easy to get a bunch of cows, put them in a
Cows don't put up a fight.
in a
either.
thing,
Yeah.
whatever
I
it's
mean,
called, a
you know,
pasture.
like at
and
a
Well,
certain point.
the other
then
thing
kill
with
'em, like, it'd be
cows-
hard to get a bunch of lions.
Yeah. I think
Like
also
to mass produce it.
with,
I
with
just- there's-
cows, there's a lot more on it as
Over
well.
time,
Like,
well,
Or genetically modified.
like
too,
if you
so-
kill a chihuahua, what are you getting? Like
Yeah.
an ounce of meat?
Yeah, true.
You know?
I mean, everything was wild at one point, right? And then we started domesticating things,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And dogs became.
Well, certain
helpless to
things
people.
never
So
existed.
Right,
It
dogs.
was like it's like horse. You don't hear about a lot of horse eating because horses were used for
Right.
another purpose.
They're useful.
And
Right.
I
still
think there's
are.
also parts of the
You
world
know,
where
like-
they eat horse.
There
though.
is parts
Like
of the world.
as a
I'm,
normal.
I'm sure they eat.
I've seen
everything
horse-
That's why I
somewhere in
said
the
Oh, yeah,
world.
right,
I'm
right, right.
convinced they
I've
probably
seen
eat
horse meal. I
almost
think in
everything.
Australia actually.
I think
could
the
be wrong.
steppes. I think like the Mongolian area. I think they
Yeah.
eat horses.
They
Like
were
they have
big-
a
they
very
loved their
close.
horses.
No, it's like a thing. It's like they have a close relationship with them. But
Yeah.
then if it's too old or whatever, like I think it's part of the. Like one thing that I always find funny. I'm not a vegetarian or vegan at all. But I see like the debate a lot.
All the
And I am
dogs
always-
are barking at you right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Well, I'm always interested by the fact that it seems like most like farmers and hunters, the people most closely with the animals are okay with the production of them and the eating of them.
Right.
And it's like other people who aren't involved at all that get upset.
Yeah.
And that's always interesting to me because like or I know a very common one, what is it? The or not common one, just a philosophy on it, hunting is like Native Americans are known for like that they use the whole animal.
Right.
And they're like showing they're like we have to kill you.
They have the
We
ul-
gotta eat.
They have the
Right,
ultimate
They have
right.
this
respect,
ultimate respect. They have more
Right,
respect
right.
than the
Animal.
person who's like
but
leave
they
them
know it's
alone.
part of the change.
Right.
It's part of this
Right?
life
We
for
can't
them.
live on corn
Yeah.
and whatever.
Yeah.
And that makes sense.
beans.
I kind
Which
of
makes
believe
sense.
That makes
And I
sense.
think that, and I could be wrong about this, and if I am, I apologize. But I think it's a similar with the horses in like that region, at least historically, maybe not now, but that they have a very close relationship with horses because
Right.
it's this
Right.
large steppe area. It's hard to get around. They use them, and I think they have this like
Respect.
either it
for
gets
them.
older or maybe like when it break like a horse breaks a leg and then we're like we can't fix it here.
Right.
So
Right,
we'll
right.
kill you and sort of honor you in the best way we can
Right.
as an animal that we appreciate, and
course.
love in that regard.
Right.
But I just always find interesting that the people really up against the animal, like really with them, are okay with killing them, but to show respect to them,
Right.
as opposed to the like non-respectful, just don't eat them. But they don't actually have a relationship with animals.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times,
Well, to
They-
that
or they
point,
could, I'm just
if you're going to be a farmer or a hunter, you kind of can't be the kind of person that's
Well,
like,
right, of course.
you
That's
know,
true.
like,
No, but
like
I mean-
no
but
farmer.
I mean
hunter's
that they
gonna say because
show-
you wouldn't be a farmer or hunter in
No,
that
but,
case.
but I think like the like true like a hardcore vegan, ethical vegan or vegetarian would say generally like meat's murder, right? Is like the
right,
common
right,
phrase.
it's like,
But the like, I don't think they're showing respect for the
There
animal.
is
They're
a-
just making
there is a
a value
respectful
judgment.
way. There is a respectful way
Yeah,
to kill
I mean
animals.
the value,
I
but there's
think.
also people who just don't care about animals but don't respect them and are just like whatever. It's fodder.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I'm saying like farmers, hunters, they respect the animals an incredible amount
Right.
and still choose to eat them. Like
Right.
Because they
is
know it's just a
like,
part of-
it's part of their
It's just a
life.
part
It's
of
not-
life, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like a flippant like it's for us. Like I just go to a store and get meat off the shelf. For me, I could have that flippant attitude about it. Whereas like the real people who like are up, they're like, no, it's okay, but we respect these animals and
Yeah.
and they provide this life in some cyclical way for us. I think.
Well, hunters have more respect because they got to go out and find the animal, right?
Yeah.
And
Right.
the animals are not stupid; they know how to avoid you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
right? You know, so people would be angry, like you're corralling these cows and it's an easy kill
Yeah, right. I mean, I get
type
that.
of thing. So
Yeah.
you know, maybe that's the thing, but not everybody can go out hunting either. You know,
No.
Yeah, true. I mean, there's a
but if
lot.
you had to do it to survive, you could.
Gotta.
but-
Yeah, like I said, it depends on the process, but the problem is, and I think this is where most people get kind of like confused, is that you never actually know
Right.
what's going on. You know, they tell you there's
Right.
places that have the ads and like we do this, but you never know.
Right.
You never actually. So I think that's what gets people most times is they're like, if I can't know what this farm is doing to their animals, I just don't want any part of it. Which like. You know, I respect it, but I just like cheeseburgers.
Well, there are
That's it.
places,
Just like
there are
cheeseburgers.
places you can
Nothing
go,
else.
and buy like a side of beef and stuff, and
Yeah.
By
they
yeah,
butcher it
in
all up
chunks.
for you.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
just got to bring your cooler and go. And those, I guess, they are as humane as possible, right? 'Cause
Right.
They're like their relationship with the animals is much closer.
Mhm.
It's small farm, you know. It's not like this.
Yeah,
mass-
humane. That was the word. I
mass
kept thinking
production
of. I was
thing.
like, I couldn't think of humane.
Humane.
They had to kill them. Like I was,
Oh.
when I was saying with the farms,
Humanely,
like they
yeah.
have a humane
humane.
look at. You know,
Yeah.
it is they're out killing this,
Right.
Right.
but it's a humane way. It's like no, this is like a part of this process. It's not. I'm not just like shooting it for fun.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
which I think is the way that, like what I was saying, is treated sometimes like meat eaters or
Right,
like
right.
bad people, and it's like you enjoy inflicting pain. It's like no, the people who actually kill the animals.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not killing them. So if I show, flippancy, it's whatever. I'm saying for the people doing it, they don't feel that way.
Yeah.
They
Right,
have a respect and are doing it a lot of times. Sometimes it's definitely just factory.
Well, that's why I say.
But
to him-
sometimes it's stuff just factory
Yeah.
farming.
Of
and,
course.
Of
That-
course. But that's always, nobody wants that. Like that's always bad,
Yeah,
you know.
that's why I
so.
say to him, I think the purest way to go about it is like halal, right? Because
Mhm.
that follows like you can put some trust in that because this
Yeah.
is someone's faith
True.
at this
Yeah,
point. So
yeah,
it's not
that is.
like
I love halal food.
Yeah,
I
me
just
too.
think
I love halal
overall,
carbs.
through
Love
all of history, we've had a relationship with animals.
Yeah.
And certain things evolve certain ways. Like, for us, dogs are pets, not food.
Mhm.
And I do not
At
keep
some
them in my
point in time,
stroller.
at some point in time, they might have been food
No, well, dogs were made.
until they figured
Dogs
out
didn't exist.
they were made.
There are
Yeah.
prairie dogs, but like
wild
dogs,
wild
wolves.
dogs, and over
And
time,
wolves,
Wild
yeah.
dogs.
They
we
were wolves.
domesticated
They became
them
dogs.
and
Yeah.
made them into
And we
these-
mixed them with
Yeah.
other animals.
the little
and
Yeah.
pets,
created-
like the one that Johnny puts a bonnet on.
But I
puts
just-
a
don't
carriage.
do that.
I don't know if there's any. I feel like I don't. I mean, like I don't know the whole history of it. I'm sure that at some point it was more of a food, but I don't think they were made. They weren't domesticated to be food. Cows
I don't
were.
think so.
Pigs were.
Right.
Dogs were not domesticated for
Not
that reason.
here.
If they were then
Right.
eaten, no, I don't think.
Oh,
it,
not-
I don't.
not at all.
I don't
Like,
think at all. I don't.
You don't
like
think
I said,
people raised them?
I'm
just
actually
to
not sure. This is conjecture. I don't think.
Yeah, I
so.
don't think so
As
either.
far as I
Yeah.
know, they were like companions and generally They were hunting aids when
yeah.
they really were domesticated because they were like, wow, wolves are great hunters.
Right.
If we can get a couple of them,
and all we have
help
to
us
do
out.
is feed them.
Right.
Yeah, all we got to do is feed
No,
them.
no,
and
but
we feed
Yeah.
them. You know, it's
They
this
they were the best ones or the easiest ones, or
to domesticate.
or
yeah.
didn't have another purpose. Like a cow probably didn't have another purpose, right?
Milk.
Yeah.
Well,
Right,
besides
right.
milk, I'm saying,
Right.
but,
I just mean I
I'm
don't
saying,
think they were
like,
domesticated for that reason.
if
Cows
if,
were.
if
Like, cows
every
were a
other
food source.
animal, at least that we eat, like, so just
Yeah.
go with the animals we eat.
The main
If they
ones.
if they disappeared tomorrow,
What would we eat?
you would have to look for another source.
Right. That's
right?
true. That's
and
true.
then, And then you would, start thinking about, well, how can I bulk this dog up a little bit, right? No, you would.
Well, you got to
because-
bulk them up
but
without the
that's just
muscle
the natural
too.
No, no,
progression
I
of
know, I
life,
know.
right?
Yeah.
That's just the
No,
way it
yeah.
went.
That's
Like,
that's how I
suppose.
say it as well.
You
is
know,
that-
is that a symbiotic relationship with animals?
Yeah.
Would that be the right
That
word
is.
to use?
I think so.
Right.
Somebody like
Well, don't they have to rely
on each other?
Oh,
somehow.
what do we do? Oh, I guess we give them food.
Sorry.
What was that?
I guess we do raise them.
Well, I think
I
you
was
can
doing
make,
the song.
I think there's a larger argument that symbiotic relationships, like you
Every
can
time
kind
you
of make
say
the argument that
Simba.
all of nature is.
Yes.
Right.
Like they're-
symbiotic.
not us particularly in like
Except
the modern world in a city, but like the
Right.
existence
It's
Except
of
when
us.
it comes to polar bears. Michael's
Yeah,
okay.
that case,
Nobody
look,
needs polar bears.
for the
polar bears
record,
die.
for the record,
It's not a big
because he
deal
mentioned
at
the
all.
hierarchical thing, and I get in trouble with this a lot because I've always felt like this, and I'll say it, and
There is a
people do
hierarchy
not
of
like hearing it.
animals?
No, not that there's well, there is, but what bothers me. So I always say this, right? And polar bears is the easy one because that's like, oh, they're going extinct. The ice caps are melting, and I always go, I don't really like care. You know what I mean? And people get mad, and I'm like, no, I'm not saying it's not sad. I'm saying it's a thing that if you didn't hear this, if you didn't read that article that you read today about it,
wouldn't-
you
you would have no idea.
You would have no idea.
wouldn't
I
matter.
have no idea how many polar bears
Yeah.
there are. I
Right.
don't know. So sure, when I see the article that says we're down to 10 and we're done, they're all males, whatever, or all females, we can't make any more.
Right.
They're gone. We just, we have 10 years left of them, however long their life is. I'm like, that's sad. And then I never
Then you
think
move
about
on.
it again. But my point about the hierarchical thing is people get mad at me because I say polar bear or I'll say some other like normal animal. But I'm like, everybody has a limit of an animal that they're okay getting rid of. So be consistent. Like I liked how you were consistent that you don't even like killing worms. I respect that. I don't respect when somebody's like, well, no, polar bears are this like majestic
keep
animal we
them.
got to protect, but mosquitoes can go.
Right,
I'm like,
right.
why?
Right.
Make the argument, right? Like I will.
Yeah.
My only hypocrisy in it is that like I would personally like to protect apes. Fine, like, and I'll accept the hypocrisy there, but I just particularly feel like they're the closest we have to like humans,
I
and I
get it.
do feel like it's not killing a person, but it feels like you're really like
Yeah.
snuffing out like a life.
Right.
You know, whereas for me, the rest of the animals are just animals. Levels of intelligence, but they're just an animal.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
I feel like when you're killing a gorilla, it's like looking at you like, why are you doing this? You know what I mean? Like you shoot a polar bear, and it's just like a dead polar
You're
bear.
gonna live in a
Look,
planet of apes
the last
world one
minute
day.
you kill the gorilla, it's gonna give you that look like, dude.
Like, dude,
was
what
that?
I do to you?
I
Yeah,
think
in my head, maybe not. I've never killed either, but
I think my rule for animals I would want to die are animals that look like they want to kill me.
that's a lot.
They all look like
No,
you
but
want to
like
kill you.
only no, but I mean like only in the moment that they're gonna kill me. Like,
Oh.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't want any
So you
animal
wanna
to
know,
die.
Like Matt wants to kill everything.
I don't want
You
any
want to know
animal
some
to die.
animals that went extinct in 2023?
Oh, sure.
Shoot.
Go ahead.
There's a list of them.
Is there?
Wow, that's a
Yeah.
lot.
Wait, before you say
A
this,
list.
so I just want to say, not for you guys, because I know you guys aren't mad, but anybody listening gets mad about this. When you hear this list, tell me how many you knew. Like, I want to hear, or
That's
at least be
great.
honest to yourself. You're not
What
going to
day
tell
is
me.
it?
Be honest with yourself how many of these you knew about and how many hours you cried about all
but
this
this
in a whole year.
this
tell me.
episode comes
Before you
out-
get mad about me
This
not caring
episode
about
comes
polar
out in like
bears.
Yeah.
in like mid-March. How many did you know before? Because
Before-
this
yes.
is 2023. How many did you know before January 1st, 2024?
All right,
We'll
so
see.
let me see. I
Damn.
think this is the list here.
I didn't even. To be honest, before you even started, I didn't even know any
You're
animals
not gonna-
went
it's going to be a
extinct.
huge
No,
list.
I
It's going to
didn't
be
know
15
either.
animals.
I didn't even know anything went extinct.
Well,
I
it
didn't know
says
Things go extinct constantly.
Why don't they make the
Yeah.
Why don't they make the news? I want to hear more about
Because
this.
they only do it. They only
In
did it with polar
2023,
bears.
They use
so
big ones. They
unfair.
use ones that people go, "Oh, that's cute and that's,
That's
sad."
sad.
And
You
I'm
know
like,
what's-
I'm not about that, but people like everybody else is allowed to not care about
Yeah.
other animals.
21 species officially extinct in 2023.
Okay.
21.
21 more than I knew
Bachman's
of.
warbler,
What?
South Carolina,
Bird,
Florida and South Carolina. I guess it's a bird.
warbler, right? Is a bird.
You've seen it?
Bridled.
No, warbler.
The
Oh,
bridled.
okay.
These are all birds, actually. The bridled white-eye, Guam.
Hmm.
Kaui Akialawa,
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Definitely.
Another. Oh no, that's Kauai, right? Kauai.
Kauai.
Kauai Nukupu. Nukupu.
Okay.
Also Hawaii. Hawaii lost like 7 things.
Ooh, might have been the fire.
The lava.
8 birds.
All Hawaii.
Now they said there was a mammal.
Oh yeah,
on the
Hawaii had a
list,
huge
but,
fire, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
they probably
it
lost
could
a
have been
ton
part.
of animals.
It could have been partially
Yeah,
that.
they're like all of
Huh?
Maui was on
There's a
fire.
whole
or
list of
something.
mussels that went extinct.
Like the.
The mussels, the stuff
Really?
you don't eat. You're allergic to seafood.
Yeah.
Allergic to mushrooms.
Allergic to mushrooms.
He's allergic
And
to
the
diner
seafood.
once, they
and he
almost
doesn't
killed
eat
him.
meat.
Really?
They gave him like you ordered an omelet, right? And it came with mushrooms in it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
He's allergic to mushrooms.
It's really bad.
So yeah, it was like a whole bunch of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different types of mussels went extinct.
And
Where are
nobody.
the tears about the mussels?
Where exactly? That's my exact point. I choose all of the animals.
But I think everybody
Other
has that.
people
Because even
land
you have
somewhere.
that.
Hold
right?
up
'Cause you
here.
have it with apes.
I
I
know
feel
I
like
do.
everybody has.
I completely
has,
understand.
Like animals they don't want.
Yeah, but I think
extinct
people. I
animals
think
they do.
generally it's not like a 1-1. They don't actually.
Three-
People don't think about it.
Yeah.
They just say.
Right. They
No,
should
it's
acknowledge.
bad
They
if
should
I
at least
say it.
acknowledge their bias.
I have to ask a
Exactly.
very
Yeah.
important question. I know we can do this, but how do we know they're really extinct? Like a mussel. How they search the whole the whole ocean for this mussel? It's a big
No,
and the
well,
birds
They probably
too.
have a habitat,
Mussels
and they assume
only-
they're all there, and then
Well, not
if
even
they're
that.
not,
Mussels
they're not.
only can animals can only live, especially in the ocean, because the ocean is so vast and it gets dark or cold at certain
Right.
points. The
one
animals
spur-
they can only
it's just-
live in one general area. So
I
it's not like
feel like-
it's not like
Well, like mussels
there,
live on the seafloor,
there
so
can't
I feel like one
but
floated
there
somewhere
can't
else.
be the
I mean,
same
maybe.
I'm just saying.
species of mussel
Could be.
thriving. Maybe it could have floated there, I guess, but it can't be. There can't be a same species of mussel thriving super far away. At that point, it would become a different. It would have adapted.
Right.
It became a
Okay.
different species. So that's how they kind of,
Okay.
as they know the general area where the species is.
But okay, I don't know.
And-
Birds
Who knows?
fly. They're
I
hard
mean,
to
you
track.
can't really.
You
know,
could lie to
but-
you probably. You know what might be the best way to stop big game hunting? Is
Just tell
to-
them everybody
is just to
that
tell them
died.
They're all dead because nobody would know. None of these trophies
All the
hunters
wi-
would
all the
know.
wild deer
They're not
died.
out looking all the time. They're like, oh, good, this guy's hiring me. No, just put it out. Hey, lions are
All
done.
the lions are dead.
Boom, they're back.
Oh, guess I-
Nobody knows. Nobody's there looking at them. It's a nonsensical thing that people get.
Every
you
year,
know?
certain species go extinct. But to your point, a lot of them you don't know. A fruit bat, a
course.
certain kind of fruit bat
Sad about that one.
from Guam went extinct.
I know what
Yeah.
bats are.
And it's like,
Shame.
but it's not good that any animal goes extinct. I'm not for
No, yeah, of
extinction, but
course.
in the sense that there is a natural process of extinction,
Yes,
then I'm like, all right.
you're okay.
And we know there is because
Whatever.
the dinosaurs. They're
Right,
before us.
right,
They went
however they
extinct. We had
went,
nothing
you
to do with that. I mean, I think they do the conservation because at some point we do contribute.
We have a
we
100%.
do contribute, but a lot of the times, like mussels, I don't think we. How much do we contribute to that? Eating them, maybe.
Probably
But
eat a ton of them.
Ton of
I
us.
mean,
Ton.
You
think
eat like
we ate
30
enough
at a
to make
time.
them go extinct?
I don't know.
But I feel like the ones you eat, they create anyway, right?
I have no. I
They're
don't-
mussel
I assume
farms?
there's mussel
There are mussel
farms.
farms,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
but it's probably only a certain kind. That kind probably you don't eat, so they
Yeah.
let them
The,
rock.
or the ones that you eat that probably mass produced.
No, that's what I'm saying. They probably have the farms.
They'll
of it.
never go
Definitely the ones you
extinct.
eat.
They'll
Yeah.
never go extinct.
To circle back and round out our food thing, that's actually my whole thing about people say, oh, I don't like to eat animals because they were raised for slaughter. But to me, I would rather that because I don't want to, like, at that case, you know that this animal, it exists on the farm and it will die on the farm and that's it. Instead of thinking that they're going out and like killing random animals. That's how you avoid the
Right.
extinction, right? You raise it specifically. So I would actually rather that fact, even though it's sad for the cow.
Yeah, well, I think
obviously.
every animal is
but
raised
it's
for
like-
slaughter.
Well,
Humans are like the only
yeah, I
animal
guess
that
so.
dies of old age. That's not a thing in the world.
That's true.
yeah.
Animals do not just wither away. They
That
get
is true.
killed.
And dogs.
They get
'cause
too
you
old
raise
to
them.
defend themselves.
And
And
they get
dogs,
killed.
right? Because,
And
because
dogs,
of
'cause
us.
we
raise
They
them.
get too old to defend
Whales.
themselves,
Right.
and then they get
I
killed.
guess me.
Right.
Like there's just a natural order of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like I don't. I
Humans
never
and
understood
whales.
that. Every animal
And
dies a
dogs.
violent death.
And dogs.
Like almost every animal all the time.
Yeah.
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 Like that
usually.
has ever existed dies a violent death.
Right.
Doesn't just wither away.
Yeah.
You know, but whatever. I don't know. Who cares?
It's a good discussion, I guess.
You
Nothing,
guys?
nothing
All right.
super angry.
Didn't like that one?
No, well, nothing super angry.
No, it
I
was. It
mean-
was nothing super angry. That's my
Yeah.
point. You know, is that we were.
Well, I felt more fired up about zoos, but then when I
The
when I
admissions
talk
thing,
through it, I
the
get the
admissions
conversation.
thing kind of.
no with the
The
donation.
admission.
The,
Like, you
idea,
pay
the
the
idea that
admission
I
and
would
then
never,
for
and I
donation.
wouldn't, I have never separately donated in my life. But the fact
Yeah.
that every time I go to the zoo, I'm donating to conservation. That's good. That's a good thing. And I
Oh.
didn't think of that. And then also just the whole conservation aspect of zoos, I knew about and I respect, but I think you can separate the two and not keep animals, in zoos.
Yeah, but
Like-
then they would
but
get
I
so
think-
much less
well, right,
money.
right. Then you get no money.
They
No,
would
I'm
get
saying,
so
No,
much
but I
less
think
I'm saying I
money.
was
people-
angrier about like it stinks that animals
Yeah.
are in cages, and then you really think about them like there is a
People
There's a
seeing the
purpose.
animal, they
Yeah.
they
There's a purpose,
They
yeah.
they
Connect
feel
with the.
connected
Yeah.
to it, and then they'll donate.
And there's
more.
always the plaques, and you
So
can
that's
learn a
why
lot
it's
about
kind
the
of,
animal.
like I said, a necessary evil. You got to hope that they're treating the animals as good as possible.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have
you
a
know.
whole new question.
What?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It
You
just popped
say
up.
like that. Wow.
Johnny never asks questions.
I know, because I'm just, I let you flow. How do you feel about like animal shelters that have all the animals, and if no one takes them, they kill them?
Probably not gonna like my response.
I don't know. I
No,
don't.
I think again, like, that's the most humane thing you could do.
See, now that one
You
makes
can't
me
just
angry.
let them
You
out.
can't kill
save
them.
You can't just let 'em
all.
out.
Like,
You can't save 'em.
save them
Kill
all.
'em.
You can't care for them all. I mean, the problem starts before it gets to the shelter,
Right.
It does.
right?
But now you have you have the two sides of the world that like only get rescues, don't.
Don't buy. Right.
Don't
right.
buy.
Don't
But my
Don't
thing
buy,
is,
adopt, or
the
whatever.
people that are raising them for sale, those animals are going to be in the same boat as the rescues. They're going to need to be rescued because there's going to be all. So I'm just like, get whatever you want, just get them.
Yeah, just
you
get
know,
them.
just
No,
get
No,
one.
You can't save every animal, right? There's a cost.
But
to
killing 'em?
keeping-
No,
Can't
I
we
think
get-
I think what he said is perfect.
What?
Too much blame on the shelter. The
Wait,
shelters are.
Stop. Back up. Say my name.
I know.
If I said something perfect. Say my name. You know, like,
I
Other
think,
Mike.
I think other
Other
Mike.
Mike.
I think other Mike said something perfect in that it doesn't start at the shelter. The shelters get all the
They
flack
do,
because
they
they're
do.
killing it. But
They're
you're right. At a
the
certain
last of a
extent,
chain.
at the certain extent, that's all they can really do. They just not enough space. You can't keep them all.
Can't we put them all on a
So
deserted
the-
island somewhere?
No,
They can live
the
together, and we
effort-
just drop food off.
the
They would
effort-
just
kill each
just
other.
rip each
They'll
other
kill
apart.
each other.
They would just die violently.
Violently.
That's what I'm saying. If you don't do that, let them out. Let them out. They're gonna die violently.
The effort
so it's
should
not better.
go in before they hit
I
the
think-
shelter.
Well,
That's
there's
where
a-
the focus
there's
should
a
go.
thing
is
because,
before
like, a
they
lot
get
of
there.
people buy dogs for their kids for Christmas,
Right.
and then realize,
Don't realize,
they can't
yeah.
handle
Can't
them.
take-
Oh
So,
yeah, 100%.
you know, all these dogs. There's this like increase in the amount of dogs that wind up in shelters a certain amount of time after Christmas because people just
Right.
can't handle
They had to
them.
ban in New York
You know.
City. They had to ban the adopting of rabbits because people would get them around Easter and then realize they had to take care of an animal for 8 years and have no idea what to do.
Really?
with it. Yeah.
They
so
banned it?
you can no longer buy rabbits in New York City.
At all, or just around Easter?
No, at all. I mean, you can own one. Like you can go to Long Island, buy one,
bring one
and bring
back.
it back, but you can't buy one, and they
Can't
can't
buy
sell
one in
them
the
in the city.
That's
Because
wild.
they used to sell little chicks and ducklings
You can still get
around
ducks.
Easter time. You know,
You can still get. We had ducks at school for. a bit.
Where? I've never seen this.
Two little
Around
bit-
the
two little
holiday
they
bit.
that
don't know the
Never.
good pet stores.
I guess not. So you're
but
telling
they
me
don't do it anymore.
there are
They
pet
don't
stores
do
that
it
you
anymore.
guys knew of that around the holidays, based around those, they had a.
Yeah, my girlfriend bought her rabbit.
So
around-
because it was Easter, all the
Easter.
pet stores you knew had lots of rabbits for, and then around.
they make money. They want to make
I've
money.
Well,
never-
rabbits,
People
rabbits
buy-
were a thing.
Well,
Rabbits were
rabbits
just
were
a
a
pet.
thing.
That's what
No, I
used to
know.
sell. The ducks and the
I've never
the
seen that.
ducklings and
Seasonal.
the chicks were seasonal.
Seasonal.
I've never seen that.
This
That's so
lady,
weird.
They got a little duckling for Easter, and the duck attaches itself to you like it thinks you're its mother,
Oh wow.
and the little duckling would follow her around.
That's so
really
Did
cute.
your ducks follow you around?
Yeah, well, not me, but the kid who bought them. They did.
You know, and it just,
Like the actual
just follows
dad. I guess. I
behind
just
you.
lived in the house.
And she took a step backwards one day. And that was the end of the little duckling, man.
No.
Terrible.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, she
my
felt so
God.
bad.
She
obviously.
killed it, crushed it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Terrible. Terrible.
That's awful.
That's horrible.
That's horrible.
story.
That's the worst.
What a great way to wrap up.
That's a terrible way to end.
It was
That's
terrible. She
awful.
felt so bad, man. I remember
would.
talking to her.
That's
Oh,
awful.
my
That's so
God.
sad.
It was so sad.
Oh.
But the thing is,
The moral of the story.
the moral of the story is, they shouldn't be selling ducklings and chicks
Yeah.
to people
Right,
that
right.
don't really know how to take care of them.
Yes, yeah.
And
Not
luckily,
that she
luckily
didn't
there was a
care.
law that
It was an
stepped in there.
accident, but
Yeah,
you got to know.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
There's certain things,
know.
yeah.
Because there's even little dogs, man. These little teacup. There was a lady
Yeah,
across the
you
street had a dog that fit in the palm of your
Oh
hand.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody could touch the
You
dog.
can take them out easy.
Hey, if your
Like a
ducks are
dog couldn't
walking
get
around
any
the house
affection.
with you, don't just take a step back. Look behind you.
It happens.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. It's not normal. That's the first time I've ever heard the story.
That
So-
one, yeah.
So it doesn't just
I
happen.
don't know. I've like stepped on my cat's tail before. It does happen.
If it was
I mean,
a-
it just so happened to be a chick. but, like,
Johnny never
you
stepped
know, like-
on his dog because it's always in the bassinet.
Yeah, it's always in front of him.
There's no bassinet.
He doesn't
It's
take
like
her
a-
out of his
yeah.
sight. You know.
What's it called? Mobile?
The
What is
mobile.
it?
Mobile.
Mobile.
It's in the bassinet of the mobile. Johnny's dog
It's a
is
bunch of
never-
dog treats.
Johnny's dog never touches the ground.
Yeah.
No, he carries it on one of those things, like the old chariot.
Listen,
carried
not
by
for nothing.
people.
You know, he says the bassinet is just a joke, but I've
It's
seen you
not.
take her on a walk, and she doesn't walk.
She
you
doesn't.
Carry her.
I carry her.
She goes to the
I carry
bathroom,
her.
and then he picks her up and continues on the walk.
Not
he carries
wait,
her on the
Mike.
walk.
Not because I want
No,
to.
she's lazy,
She's
yeah.
lazy.
She's
She
lazy.
will. You'll put her outside. She won't walk outside. If you put her outside and put her on the ground, she'll just for hours.
She doesn't know
She's
what
a
to do.
she's a goddamn monument. So I have to literally carry her to the grass, leave her there. She'll do that for a minute and go, "Oh, I guess I
should
gotta
go."
pee," and then she takes a little pee and then gets back up. And you gotta carry her back inside.
It's
When
fine.
to make her go for like walks, like she won't walk anywhere. So we're like, she knows she got out of the car, and she'll like stare at you like, "All right, what do you want to do? Put me back in the car." So I'll take her like a mile out with me. I'll put her down. She'll walk back to the car. She's like, "I'm going back to the car. I'm not going any further." Meanwhile, that's my plan. We're not going further, jerk.
Get
We're
you to
going back
walk
to the
the
car.
mile
But she'll
anyway.
run because she's like, "Haha, I'm not going," and she'll walk back to the car. That's it. That's the only time she wants to move.
Hey, you know.
Is it true? You
Not
got,
for nothing,
you
I've
got
dog
special-
sat her a lot, and she walks with me. Like I've taken her on walks
She
a lot
doesn't-
of times.
She knows
Babying.
she knows she got me suckered.
Is it true you got special doggy toilet paper and you wipe her butt?
No, I have special doggy paper for me. Not for her.
Well, that's
I
good. We had a
don't
bad
know.
story, a sad story, and then a real nice
A
dog
real-
dad. So
Exactly,
that's good. That's a good
exactly.
way to.
Good way to
She
balance
didn't,
it
she
out.
didn't mean to kill the duckling. It was a
Oh, you
No.
idiot. You ended again.
Horrible things happen to
you can cut
animals.
it out.
We're not.
Anyway, I guess we didn't really have too much anger with anything. We're not mad. Maybe the circuses was the
Mad
thing
circuses.
we were most angry about because we know those animals can't be
Yeah.
getting.
We could have gone about it in an angry way.
Well, hey, it is something
No.
people
You just
are
happen to not
angry
be.
about.
People are
no matter
angry.
what,
It's
it is
an
something
angry-
people are angry about.
People are angry
People
about
are
it.
angry about-
Angerable
people are
topic.
angry about
Yeah.
zoos,
You know.
They're angry about
Eating
the
circuses.
vegan
animals.
stuff,
Yeah,
like
being
meat
right.
eater versus non-meat eater. There's like a
It's-
lot of
They're gonna be angry.
actual
But
vicious
everybody
anger.
loves animal crackers, right?
No, I don't.
In my
Like,
soup.
you know, they took
like
the
'em.
cages off the
I don't
animal
eat-
cracker
Yeah.
box.
Yeah.
What? Really?
Yeah, I only found out like
Yeah.
last week. You
It's
mentioned
so
it 2
sensitive.
weeks ago.
So
That's crazy. That's
sensitive.
kind of far.
Yeah.
But well, it was circus too. So
But I don't eat like animal crackers, and not because they're animals. I don't like crackers that are
If
very
I'm
like,
gonna buy you
like
the
that.
Trader Joe's.
they're good.
Trader Joe's
Awesome.
animal crackers. I'm gonna buy you the Trader Joe's animal crackers. I bet you'll like them.
He said that like we are sponsored. Like we're not.
Yeah.
You don't have to
No, we're
repeat it.
trying.
Maybe by the time
Okay.
this airs, we
We're
might
trying.
Yeah,
be.
we'll
we
see.
wanna-
I'll call him. Maybe not after this conversation.
Trader Joe's has excellent stuff. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Sex
Trader
Johnny.
Joe's.
Everything
Let's
I
stop.
give
We're
him,
giving them free air.
everything I give him. That's
All the
Trader
60
Joe's,
people
he
that
falls in
listen
love
are
with it.
gonna
It's
be-
like, this is Trader Joe's. Are you kidding me?
I know. I'm always shocked that it's a Trader Joe thing.
It is.
It's really weird. I used to hate them,
Yeah.
and now I'm starting to really like them.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up here. Thanks for listening. Please like us, comment, send in suggestions, topics you'd like to hear,
I'm angrypodcast.com.
and thanks for listening. And
Stay angry.